Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November 2018 regular meeting of the Hoboken Board of Education. Mr. Moffat, you still please read the statement of compliance.
Yes, sir. This meeting is being held in conformity to the Open Public Meeting Act. Proper public notice of the meeting was published in the local papers on November 8, 2018 and November 10, 2018. If any board member or member of the public in attendance believes that this meeting is in violation of the Open Public Meeting Act, the Hoboken Board of Education requests that they make a statement at this time. The board wishes to make those in attendance aware that this meeting is being recorded on video and will be broadcast by the board at a later date on cable television channel 77 and FiOS channel 46. The full meeting recording will also be made available on board docs, which can be accessed through the district's homepage. The Hoboken Board of Education is committed to preserving the decorum of the public process and is mindful that we live in an electronic age of computers, cell phones, and other electronic communication devices. Nevertheless, we respectfully request that all meeting participants kindly silence their electronic devices during the course of the meeting, and if use of the device is necessary, we ask that you please leave the meeting room if you need to conduct personal business. If you could please rise for the salute to the flag.
And I think roll call.
Miss Angley?
Here.
Miss Delera?
Here.
Miss Evans?
Here.
Miss Kana?
Here.
Mr. Madigan?
Here.
Miss Simmons?
Here.
Miss DeKirian?
Here.
And Mr. Cluffell.
Here. Thank you. First order of business is always recognitions. This evening we have teacher and staff recognitions. Ms. Rodriguez Gomez, you take it over.
Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Johnson, members of our school board, and certainly our Hoboken school community. This evening, we're going to switch it up. We're going to do things slightly differently than we have in the past. We're going to begin with honoring the Staff Member of the Month, and then we're going to move on to the Students of the Month selections and by school. I would just simply ask that all the principals and those that are being honored remain at the podium after the presentation so that there can be pictures by friends and family who I'm sure really want that. At the end of the presentations, we will all reconvene for a large group picture to include Superintendent Dr. Johnson, principals, board members, and of course the Students of the Month. And so we'll begin. I would like to ask that I be joined at the podium by the high school principal, Ms. Picapietra, to come up and share regarding the selection of Staff Member of the Month.
Good evening, everyone. So it's my great pleasure to welcome and introduce Ms. Sharon Melenda. So it's never easy to choose just one person, but I had expressed to Dr. Johnson that I wanted to recognize Ms. Melenda. I've had the pleasure of working with Ms. Melenda for the past 11 years and always have been in awe of her intelligence and understanding of English language arts. She's an integral part of my teaching staff, and 11 years later, I still count on her input to ensure that our team is doing everything possible to move students forward. What is unique about Miss Melinda is that her creativity between language arts and literacy arts, she's able to move back and forth. She has served as our yearbook advisor, literary magazine advisor, newspaper advisor, and put together my weekly newsletter for over 2 years. Her talents are not only in one area, but extend well beyond. Her literary magazine, Create, has won multiple awards of excellence, and the yearbook earned numerous accolades. 3 years ago, I chose to reconfigure my language arts department and reassign Miss Melinda back to the department, teaching our freshman students. I knew that Miss Melinda would challenge our students while simultaneously build the integral study skills necessary for high school and beyond. This transfer is one that I will look back on as one of the best moves I have ever made. When I visit her class, I see a passion for delivering the content material and her desire to make learning relevant. Over the past few years, Ms. Melinda has worked with the ELA team to triple the number of students proficient in the 9th grade. When I spoke to a couple of her students, here's what they had to say. Ms. Melinda is really understanding and took so much time not only with me, but with my entire class. Another student shared, she kind of makes learning fun. She has a way of helping me understand the books we were reading. English is now my favorite subject. For me, honestly, I care about Miss Melinda as a person and see her unlimited potential as an educator. While Miss Melinda exhibits a strong personality and exterior, she has a heart of gold and her gratitude is genuine. I feel honored to have her as part of my staff. Congratulations, Ms. Melinda. Good job.
So at this time, I'd invite Principal Bartlett of the Joseph F. Brand School as he shares regarding his school selection for Student of the Month.
Good evening, everyone. At this time, I would like to call to the podium Mr. Liam Mead, the Brant School Student of the Month for October 2018. Liam was nominated by his 3rd grade teacher, Miss Cuba. When she nominated Liam, Miss Cuba said, "Liam has demonstrated tremendous growth from 2nd to 3rd grade. He has an infectious positive attitude with the ability to uplift anyone in his path. He is determined to continue to grow academically and socially." In my interactions with Liam as principal, he certainly exemplifies all of the qualities of a future leader. He is kind, selfless, compassionate, and always seeking to do what is right and to do it well. Liam is no stranger to recognition, as he was previously recognized as the Brant Student of the Month in May of 2017. Ms. Cuba went on to say, "Liam fills the heart of every person he meets with joy and laughter. He may not realize his positive ways, but Liam can make you smile on your saddest days with a warm welcome and an unforgettable joke. Known throughout the Brant School community for his gentlemanlike manners, Liam has always placed others before himself. When Liam first arrived at Brant, he quickly made his presence known. Fearlessly, Liam participated in all activities, both academically and socially, and was open to any new challenge. No one ever saw Liam as the new student, as he was open and shared stories of his old school and friends. It quickly became clear Liam found a home at Brant. He prides himself on achieving the best academically, redoing any work he feels is not satisfactory. A dedicated hard worker, a comedian, a true friend, a believer of all things good, Liam is the definition of a Brant buddy. When he is not in school, Liam enjoys creative storytelling with his father, playing football, baseball, and soccer. He enjoys watching the Mets play. And as a fellow Met fan, I know your pain. He also enjoys listening to jazz, and Liam wants it to be made very clear that he means Louis Armstrong's kind of jazz and not that other kind of elevator jazz. He also loves to read during his free time. Later in life, Liam's career goal is to become a comic book illustrator, writer, and publisher after attending college at Stony Brook University because, quote, "That's where my dad went to school, and he says it's the best school. I would study animation to help my comic book career." When told he would receive this award, Liam said, "Thank you, Mom and Dad, for helping me achieve my goals. Without you, I would not be here." Congratulations to Liam Mead, the Brant School Student of the Month for October 2018. All right, so congratulations. You hold one side and I hold the other, and we smile.
At this time, I'd ask Dr. Vespignani to the podium so that he can tell us about Calabro selection.
Good evening. I would like to welcome Susanna Kelly to join me from second grade at Calabro. Her second grade teacher, Miss Lake, quotes, "Susanna is an absolute pleasure to have in class. She takes pride in her work and always strives for excellence." Susanna is extremely driven academically and loves the challenge. Her desire to help others is truly admirable. Susanna's peers consider her kind, caring, funny, and a natural leader. I know that one day she will make an amazing teacher and will inspire so many students of her own, just as she inspires me. Susanna has been at Calabro since kindergarten. She loves second grade because she is excited about increasing her writing skills and her handwriting skills. She likes going to the park and playing tag with her older brother James and her friends from class. Susanna quotes, "I want to be a teacher when I grow up because I want to help other kids learn like my teachers helped me. My favorite part of school is math because it helps my brain grow so I can one day learn how to do calculus." It's pretty good. I would like to extend my congratulations to Susanna and her family for this well-deserved recognition. She has always been an outstanding role model for her peers. Her kind, gentle disposition is noteworthy and will serve her well for a future as a professional educator. How about a nice round of applause for Susanna Kelly?
And now to present on behalf of the Connors School community, I'd invite Dr. Pollins to the podium.
Hello, everyone. At this time, I would like for CJ Braxton to join me up here at the podium. CJ Braxton is a kindergarten student in Ms. Fleischer's class. Ms. Fleischer nominated CJ because CJ puts forth a tremendous amount of effort towards his work. CJ has grown so much, both academically and socially, in the few months that we have been in school. He is eager to learn and an avid participant in class. He isn't afraid to take academic risks. CJ is a wonderful friend and cares about all of his classmates. CJ is an asset to the Connors School community because he truly is a great example of a kind and caring student. CJ is committed to learning by arriving to school on time. He acts responsibly by making great behavior choices. He shows respect to his peers and all teachers. CJ shows that effort matters by completing his work carefully. When CJ was asked about being a student at Connors School, he replied, "I really love this school." CJ loves his school, and Connors School really loves CJ. When I think of CJ, I think of the quote, "It's cool to be kind." CJ is cool and kind. CJ has a smile that can light up the entire room, and Ms. Fleischer and I are so proud of him. Congratulations, CJ. Thank you.
And now, the principal of the Wallace School.
At this time, I'd like to ask Priya Wolski to come to the podium, please. It is our pleasure to nominate Priya Wolski as the October 2018 Student of the Month for Wallace Elementary School. Priya is a third grade student in Mr. Peterson's class. When asked about Priya, Mr. Peterson stated, "She is an excellent student and a wonderful child. She is the kind of kid whom you can trust to do the right thing even when no one is watching her. Priya is an earnest, helpful, and dependable child. She invokes the proverbial, if I could have 20 of her in my class, I'd be one happy teacher. If my third grade son went to Wallace, I would want him to be friends with her." In one sentence, Mr. Peterson summarized his Student of the Month nominee by saying, "Priya isn't a good kid, she's a great person." When asked about Priya, I expressed, "Priya is an asset to our school. She reflects the characteristics we wish to instill in all of our students. She embodies the true meaning of character." Priya participates in the Wallace's G&T program. On November 8th, Priya, along with 3 other students in Mrs. Eakin's Gifted and Talented class, traveled to Atlantic City to present their reusable notebook submission to the STEAM Tank Challenge, which is sponsored by the New Jersey School Boards Association and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. With hard work and determination, they placed first in the state at the elementary level. That's quite an accomplishment. Priya loves to play soccer, to sing in Wallace's chorus, and to build unique structures while playing Minecraft. Her favorite subjects are science, music, and art. When Priya was informed she would be the Student of the Month, she stated, "I was so excited to tell my parents that I was Student of the Month." Well, our response is, we are honored to nominate you. Thank you, Priya, for all that you do for the Wallace School community.
And now I'd invite Principal Abraham from Hoboken Middle School to share regarding their selection for Student of the Month.
Good evening. I'd like to call to the podium the Hoboken Middle School Student of the Month, Ryan Baluma. The Hoboken Middle School Student of the Month nomination comes from his teacher, Ms. Fasolino. Ms. Fasolino said the following about Ryan. "Ryan takes great pride in his work and is always eager to learn additional information on the covered topics in class. He is a genuine friend that will not only listen to you, but hear you out with an open mind. He is an amazing student who consistently demonstrates what it means to be a student leader and a well-rounded person. He always has a smile on his face, and this has become contagious at Hoboken Middle School, as you can see. Ryan's hobbies include playing basketball, spending time with friends, and working out. His future occupation, Ryan aspires to become a professional basketball player and to one day play overseas in France. His anticipated college major, Ryan would like to major in architecture and/or literature at Villanova University. His favorite team is the New York Knicks. My vote of confidence in Ryan is as follows. Ryan brings terrific passion and energy to Hoboken Middle School each day. He enhances the learning experience in each and every class that he attends through his thirst of knowledge, regular participation, and thought-provoking questions. Ryan is one of 24 students recognized for our Caught Being Kind program for his continuous acts of altruism. His house was the winning homeroom for the Read, Believe, Achieve incentive, logging over 7,000 minutes. Following the school-wide assembly, Ryan was interviewed by NBC News 4 New York, where he spoke masterfully on the connections that he made between Eric's story and the 7th grade core novel. He is a regular participant in the cardio club, where he stimulates his mind and body through math-infused fitness workouts. It is an honor to have Ryan in our school, and we know that this is the first of many accomplishments that he will achieve in his educational journey. Congratulations, Ryan. you.
Now, last but certainly not least, I would ask that Principal Picapietro join me at the podium once again so that she can share regarding Hoboken High School's selection for Student of the Month.
So our October Student of the Month is Andrew Paredes. Ms. Chekhov, who nominated Andrew, states, Andrew is a wonderful student. He proactively cares about his grade. He infuses effort into all of his assignments, and his contributions and questions during class discussions are extremely valuable. He also sought help from other teachers' mentors with his college essay. And not only is he polite to all, but he is super observant and helpful to his teachers and peers. As principal, I have been fortunate to educate both Paredes. There is a warmth and kindness to Andrew that is so inviting. He is quiet, yet he has a strong presence. He is focused on his studies, and he is focused on his future. Andrew was our first acceptance into college for our senior class. Berkeley College accepted him and is working on scholarship monies to support his future. The decision has not been made because he also applied to Stevens, Pace, and Drexel University. I am confident that Andrew will do well wherever he decides, and I only hope that he continues the great work he began at Hoboken High School. This year we had a new coach for our boys soccer team, Mr. Percantino. He shared with me that Andrew is a fine young man of character and intelligence. My first impression of Andrew was an email he sent to our AD, Mr. England, in early July, asking that if a coach was not hired yet, if he may contact the team and begin practicing for the upcoming season. This showed leadership, pride, and love for his sport and fellow teammates. Andrew is not only the captain, but I consider him a colleague. He has been to every practice, tutored his teammates to assure they were keeping up with their grades, and motivated the team to give all they had every minute of every day. It's far and in between a coach has a player with Andrew's competitive nature, intelligence, pride in his school, and family values toward his teammates and fellow students. He states, I am a better person for having known Andrew, and I am sure that all the accolades he receives today and in the future are well-deserved. Andrew is a member of the varsity soccer, bowling, and baseball teams, and is a model student athlete. When Andrew was notified of the award, he said he was excited, but of course, Andrew turned it around to reflect on his teacher and said, she is great and she really cares about her students. Congratulations, Andrew.
So that would conclude the presentations for faculty of the month and certainly student of the month. And then we're going to proceed.
So thank you and congratulations, everyone. I'm going to ask everyone just to remain seated for the superintendent's report tonight, and then we'll take a brief recess after that. Dr. Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening. I have a few items of importance and accomplishments to share with the Board of Education this evening. At the district level, our staff members continue to grow professionally. We are all focused on high-quality, sustainable, and grassroots professional development. Our focus this year is in the area of mathematics in particular. Through a team of math teacher leaders, many of them whom are here this evening, as well as a coordinator, our high school vice principal, our assistant superintendent, all of our classroom teachers at the elementary school level are participating in ongoing training associated with math standards, mathematical practices, and the implementation of our revised curriculum. Our district's Diversity and Global Learning Steering Committee has attended their first New Jersey Excellence and Equity Consortium learning session on leadership for culturally responsive schools, and will be attending their next session on Thursday of this week on leadership for equitable schools and classrooms. Our world language teachers are actually getting set to travel to a national conference this week in New Orleans to explore new instructional strategies, and our Mandarin Chinese teachers were accepted to participate in an extended Saturday program at Princeton University to learn how to effectively integrate Chinese history and culture into their teaching practices at each of our school levels. One of our other focus areas over the past few years has been on reducing absenteeism and lateness to school. So as a district report out, I've asked the principals to continue to focus the strategies that they've been using to ensure that children are in school and on time each and every day. And I'm proud to announce that our district absentee rate has virtually been cut in half since 2015, and we're looking to improve even more this year and get our numbers down below 4%, which is phenomenal statewide. Finally, at the district level, a number of committees have been formed and are well underway. These committees include a district evaluation and assessment committee, a school climate and improvement committee, a district wellness committee, a future ready schools committee, and of course our professional development committee. In addition, the assistant superintendent is going to be leading a homework committee during the upcoming weeks, which will include both staff members, parents, and community members who are interested in the topic of homework. And I'm going to be joining a more focused food and nutrition working group with our district's wellness committee in order to make recommendations for improvements in our breakfast and our lunch programs. At the high school level, there's a few things that I would like to report out to the board. I'm proud to announce that today, 21 of our Hoboken seniors were all accepted to college in an instant decision day. And out of those 21 students that were accepted today, they were awarded a total of $860,000 in academic and merit scholarships. This was our first instant decision day of this calendar year, but there are a series that are lined up for the upcoming weeks and months, and I'm sure that our seniors are going to continue to wow us with their numbers and their accomplishments. Our senior college class, high school class from last year, I'm not sure if you remember the totals, but our scholarship numbers have increased from $1.9 million in 2014 to over $13 million with our class of 2018. And our goal for this year, for the guidance department, Mr. Arnone is smiling, is to top $15 million. These are academic and merit scholarships. They're not loans, and they do not need to be paid back. I would also like to add that 96% of our senior class from last year did apply to at least one college, and 94% of those students were accepted. The New Jersey Department of Education now tracks the percentage of students that remain in college after 16 months, and I'm very proud to say that our high school records a percentage which falls in the 90th percentile of all high schools, with 60% or more economically disadvantaged students. So our students are showing resilience and grit in the collegiate and academic world. Our high school French students and their teacher, Ms. Kobalars, were recently informed that a project that they worked on with a high school in Brest, France, was exhibited in the French National Navy Museum and the Chateau of Brest. Most impressive, the project, which was titled the Leviathan Project, earned a prize for audacity in art and culture by the French government. So we were really proud when we received the package from France and the note from the foreign minister as well. Our Rocking Red Wings marching band, under the leadership of Mr. Dave Stasiak, has had a particularly impressive start to the school year. I'm sure he's a little embarrassed. He has his head down, his face is beet red. However, I do want to report to the board that the marching band began by winning a first-place trophy in the Class A competition at the West Orange Marching Festival on October 6th. And they followed the performance by earning a 77.2 rating and a silver award at the highly competitive Wayne Hills Marching Festival on October 20th. The Rockin' Red Wings earned their highest score of the season and an excellent rating during the state ratings portion of the Bloomfield Marching Festival, and most recently, the talented squad of musicians and performers dazzled fans at Weehawken's 10th Annual Marching Band Invitational. I'm pleased to announce that Hoboken High School's application to establish a Girls Who Code Club was approved, and that venture is going to get off the ground shortly, and that our partnership with Stevens Institute of Technology just continues to grow. In addition to our Summer ACES program at the high school level, the Summer PSE&G STEM program at the middle school level, and the Duckling STEM program at the elementary school level, we will be reviving our partnership with the Max SAT Prep program with Stevens Institute in the upcoming months. At our middle school level, our middle school students continue to thrive both in the classroom and with the numerous extended learning experiences that are offered. Every Wednesday morning, students have the opportunity to participate in a math-infused cardio club. There is a new Math Olympiad program that is set to start in the upcoming weeks under the leadership of Principal Abraham and his staff members, and the range of junior PGP classes provide relevance and rigor to our students. Students are truly enjoying the courses in the junior PGP program, which include things such as Future City Planners, Genius Hour, Science Olympiad, National History Project, Coding, Art Curators, Odyssey of the Mind, and Philosophy and Poetry Slam, just to name a few. The second trimester for the middle school grades 6 through 8 Passport to Learning and Wellness program, the registration is open and ready to go. We held a parent information session last night just to provide a little bit of additional information. So in this trimester, in addition to homework help, band, chorus, and junior thespians, basketball, hip-hop, dance, fencing, yoga, and a sports sampler program including tabletop tennis, rock climbing, and archery will also be part of the Cycles After School program. And I certainly couldn't be more excited about our upcoming partnership with Codedum for the spring semester to have our middle school students experience a high quality coding program after school. In conjunction with the middle school principal and staff, we are in the process of planning and advertising a middle school open house so that all families from our elementary schools and also in the community with elementary age children can attend and learn more about our middle school program. We will also focus on hosting a few Q&As for current 5th and 6th grade families prior to the open house. Approximately 25 middle school students and 25 high school students are actually going to be attending Kane University on Friday together for a Global Learning and Citizenship Leadership Conference. So we're really excited about the opportunity to bring our middle school and our high school students together to attend a leadership conference. At the elementary school level, you've all heard a little bit about the fact that 2 of our elementary school teams were selected, made it through the local northern region of the steam tank competition, which was sponsored by the New Jersey School Boards Association and the U.S. Army. They made it through the competition level at NJIT, and 2 of our teams traveled to Atlantic City and competed in the state semifinals. Both teams did incredibly well. We couldn't have been more proud of them. And we were thrilled to hear that one of our teams, a team of 3rd grade students from Wallace Elementary School, was invited to participate in the state finals for the elementary school division. Myself and many of the staff members and their family members were in attendance to watch the students compete in that final round, and we were so proud of them. We couldn't have been more excited to see them display their confidence and their understanding of the modeling and design process, and their reusable notebook concept was absolutely the best elementary project that was there. That's why it won first prize. In addition, the students also came home with a check for $1,275 for the purpose of expanding STEM education in their school and for purchasing supplies. So we congratulate the elementary school team. And then the last two updates, our elementary schools are going to be hosting math curriculum conversations for families with simulated experiences so that parents and guardians can have a better understanding of our revised curriculum. And sessions are currently being kind of worked through with our assistant superintendent and our building level principals. And hopefully that model that was first practiced at the Calabro Elementary School will be extended to all of our elementary schools and then hopefully extended to other content areas as well. And lastly, Wallace fourth grade, and this is one that everyone will probably say, oh, why do we have to do this? But Wallace's fourth grade was randomly selected for NAEP testing, which is a national assessment program, in order to norm national student achievement performance. It is something that states randomly select, and Wallace fourth grade just happened to get the luck of the draw. So what will happen is, no round of applause for that. But what's actually going to happen is parents will receive an information packet just so that you can get a better idea of what the test actually entails, and parents do have an opt-out component if they're not comfortable having their child sit for the particular test. So once we get a better idea of how many students will in fact participate and how many won't, we will communicate that information and plan the day or days accordingly. So with that, Mr. President, I'm done with the report for this evening.
Well, that's a lot of great news. Thank you. And I'm glad everybody was here to share in that. I think it's important for the community to hear all of this good news. So we'll take a recess now. Let's take some pictures of the kids. If everybody stands around, I think, with the principals and the superintendent. So we'll take a 5-minute recess. Thank you. Can I ask everybody to get settled, and we'll try to resume the meeting now? Thank you. What's the other thing teachers do? All right, thank you, everyone. We'll resume the meeting now with committee reports. Mr. Moffett, do you have anything, by the way?
No report at this time.
Okay, no report. So then committee reports is curriculum and wellness. Ms. DeLara?
Sure. The Curriculum and Wellness Report Committee met on November 7th. In attendance were Ms. Angley, Ms. Evans, Ms. Simons, Dr. Johnson, and myself. Dr. Johnson covered all the items discussed during our meeting. Just one thing I'd like to touch on is the math curriculum update. As you all are aware of, the updated math curriculum was based upon an assessment of student achievement and the needs exhibited by students. The update math curriculum is based upon New Jersey standards for learning and 8 core math practices. While we're using math investigation materials as a driver, the curriculum integrates resources from Math in Focus, Eureka Math, and a number of other math associations and programs. The units that are being taught to students begin with foundational content, concepts, and skills, and progressively increase in complexity. Our assistant superintendent, Ms. Rodriguez, and a team of math teacher leaders across the district are rolling out revised curriculum in a thoughtful way. The math leadership team is exploring ways to incorporate a higher level and frequency of differentiation in order to challenge our learners who are mastering material more quickly. Unit assessments are being used to evaluate achievement and target our challenge and support periods in the most effective ways. Lastly, Ms. Rodriguez is working with each elementary school to develop and host family math workshops. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm doing the Facilities Committee report tonight, which was held the same afternoon. There's one agenda item for recommended for approval. It's a facilities request that was approved previously by the committee, or vetted by the committee, and was mistakenly left off at last month's agenda, so it appears tonight. It was a brief meeting. We discussed the middle school playground and the living classroom outside. The playground surface is going to be installed imminently, I believe. And the classroom is still to be completed. It was maybe before the holiday break, but definitely by January. And then we talked about the Wallace Playground, of course. The retaining wall was inspected, and there's no structural damage at all, and the playground is safe to use. There's some discussion, fencing will be installed within the next 10 days, but that was told to me a couple of days ago, so it might be sooner than that. And the estimated cost of $5,000 to about $7,000 will be paid by the driver's insurance, of course. That concludes the committee report. Finance Committee, Ms. Angley?
The Finance Committee met on Wednesday, November 7th at 4 o'clock. In attendance were Mr. Moffett, Mr. Klepfeld, Mr. Madigan, Ms. Stakirian, and myself. Finance agenda was pretty light this month, and the committee reviewed all agenda items and recommend all for board approval. In addition to the agenda items, the committee also discussed the recent state aid cuts and the potential use of our emergency reserve to cover that. The district is waiting on the commissioner's signature of approval. We also discussed the auditors have been in and will be back for a few days this week to wrap up the 2018 annual audit. This will include their review and recommendation on the unpaid lunch balance with regards to how much should be written off. We also discussed the profits from the meal program for this year, and for the month of September, the lunch program resulted in profits of about $2,200, and for the evening meal program, profits were $650. We looked back at last year, and the lunch program profit was about the same in September of 2017. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. Ms. Evans, the Governance and Personnel.
Okay. The Governance and Personnel Committee met on November 7th. In attendance were myself, Ms. Khanna, Mr. Klipfel, and Dr. Johnson. We reviewed all agenda items and recommend all for approval this evening. I'll just go over a few that generated some discussion. Item 9.01, we have a resignation. Ms. Michelle Morin, who is head custodian of Demarest School, is retiring after 25 years with the district. We'd like to thank her for her many years of service to the district and wish her all the best as she moves on to retirement. Item 9.05, we mentioned at the last meeting that Mr. Moffett is moving on to a new district, and so we'll be hiring a new business administrator. There is going to be a slight gap between Mr. Moffett's last day and Mr. Bolden's first day, so we'll be hiring an interim to cover that gap. Item 9.20, we're approving staff for the high school winter production of Tony and Tina's wedding. So here are the dates, so you can mark your calendar. Friday, February 8th, Saturday, February 9th, and Sunday, February 10th. And we're also at item 9.25, approving volunteers for the theater department, and we'd like to thank them for their support of the students and the show. And then also we discussed that Mr. Arnone and Ms. Rodriguez Gomez will be honored this Friday by the Puerto Rican Committee of Hoboken. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. I'm going to ask for a couple of minutes here because I have a couple of things I want to go over. Ms. DeLara suggested that I call some attention to item 8.02, It's kind of important. I don't want it to get lost in the consent agenda, and it does merit attention. As the resolution states, the Amistad legislation became law in 2002 and requires each New Jersey school district to implement materials and texts into social studies and language arts literacy curricula that highlight the history and contributions of African Americans and the descendants and of the African diaspora. The legislation also created the Amistad Commission, a 23-member body charged with ensuring that African American history, contributions, and experiences are adequately taught in our classrooms. It has become clear that districts have attended to the legislation with different levels of commitment. Some schools and districts have formally passed board resolutions committing to the legislation, while most have not. The Hoboken Public School District does have a robust curriculum that integrates the work and recommendations put forward by the Amistad Commission, and the district continues to develop that curriculum along with model lessons and units, sends teachers to the summer Amistad Institute, and has now built in a component of training into the new staff training program. About a month ago, our superintendent attended and presented alongside the executive director of the Amistad Commission of the NAACP State Conference Convention. The topic of implementation and Board of Education commitment was raised, and whether there was any accountability associated with ensuring that boards of education passed a resolution committing to the implementation of the Amistad legislation's educational components. Our superintendent indicated to the convention that she would research back to the inception of the legislation to see if Hoboken School District had ever passed such a resolution, and if not, the district would absolutely do so at this meeting. After culling through board minutes, a resolution could not be found. Again, this goes back to 2002. As a result, one is presented to the Board of Education tonight. With approval, we commit the district to the continued integration of the history and contributions of African Americans and the descendants of the African diaspora across our curriculum. So that's item 8.02 and why it appears tonight. I would like to sort of also chime in on what Ms. Evans stated about Mr. Moffett leaving. I've served on the Finance Committee since I first came on board here, so we've been through many, many meetings together, and I thank you for your patience as I struggle to understand the very complexities of school funding and financing. You've been patient with me and with all board members, and we appreciate that. You've also guided the district through some difficult budget years, and we've ended up in some sound financial position that we're now in. That's not my opinion, that's the opinion of our auditors. So I thank you for this 5 years of service to the district and helping me become better informed about the issues facing the district. And I'm going to miss your rendition of the Open Public Meetings Act. So thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. And good luck. Next item on the agenda is, I believe, public comment.
We have no one signed in for the agenda items only portion.
All right. I always forget this. Any questions or comments on the committee reports from board members? I didn't think so. Okay. Then we can move on to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion?
Motion. Second. I'll second.
Okay. Oh, you're going to say. I'll call roll. Ms. Angley?
Anything need to be polled or?
I have a question. On our second reading policy 7.02, it's for harassment, intimidation, and bullying. This is for the students and staff only?
Yes.
Yes.
That particular policy covers staff member, student to student, staff member to student, and vice versa, but nothing outside of the school.
And nothing with the Board of Ed members, right? It wouldn't cover us, Vito? Maybe you could answer that?
No, sir.
Okay.
I guess if you were at a school event and you harassed or intimidated a student, it would come up. But in terms of board member on board member,
or board member on anything, nasty text, anything, emails like that?
No.
Nothing, okay. I just want to make sure that we know in public it's student staff, everything like that to cover, which is good.
It is not designed to cover board members. We just have to have general feelings of good manners for
Okay,
board member relations.
thank you.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate that.
Shall I call roll if there's no other questions?
Yeah, please.
Ms. Angley?
Yes.
Ms. Delera?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Kana?
Yes.
Mr. Madigan?
First, I'd like to say thank you to Michelle Moran, 25 years of service, a lifer in Hoboken. She lived down the block after I was married, very nice person. Anytime I had any basketball programs here or Brandt when she worked there, always accommodating for the students and any of the coaches. So thank you to her. 10.05 no, 12.02 abstain, everything else yes. Thank you.
Ms. Simmons?
Abstain on 6.01 and yes to everything else.
Mr. Kirian?
Yes.
And Mr. Klupfeld?
I must abstain on 10.04 and vote yes on everything else on the agenda.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Public comments on agenda and non-agenda items are next.
We have 4 individuals signed up. The first speaker is Vera Sirota.
Okay. Mr. Roy, before you start, let me just, this is my new habit now. I want to remind speakers of board policy, please state your name, municipality of residence, and business affiliation, if any. Speakers are allowed 5 minutes, and I will quietly motion at the end of the 4-minute mark. Please address all comments to the board chair. Board policy states that the board welcomes comments on matters of interest to the board, but this is not an opportunity for dialogue or debate between speakers and board members or the superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you. Vera Sirota, 729 Madison Street, Hoboken. Marian Wright Edelman famously stated that education is for improving the lives of others and for leaving your community and world better than you found it. No one in Hoboken better exemplifies these words than our very own Dr. Johnson. From the beginning, yes, that's right. That's right. From the beginning of her tenure here, Dr. Johnson has shown a persistent effort to ensure that the children of Hoboken can reach higher and fulfill their dreams. She has been busy these last 3 years planting seeds. They will surely take time to blossom. I already see a garden in bloom. I am here to say that I am committed to seeing her vision of equity and excellence come to fruition. We are here for you, Dr. Johnson. You have had Hoboken's back, and now it's time for us to have yours. Ever since Dr. Johnson became superintendent, she has had a laser-like focus on expanding opportunities for all the children of Hoboken. One of her first initiatives was creating the Passport to Learning after-school program. This was the first of many significant steps in ensuring equity among historically unequal after-school programming options for children at the elementary school level. Passport to Learning democratizes access to enrichment courses for children regardless of a child's or family's income level. Students can take chess, drama, yoga, among other options. There is no cost for children who qualify for free lunch to participate, and those who can afford to do so pay full price. What is incredibly moving to me about the Passport to Learning program is how it transforms the elementary schools to serve as community centers and encourages children to nurture their passions. At the last BOE meeting, it was implied during a public comment that grant money was being used to funnel funds intended for needy children solely to the Joseph F. Brand School, which happens to be my daughter's school. And I felt the need to submit clarification to our community. The grant money is used to fund the entire Passport to Learning program, from Calabro to Connors to Wallace to Brandt. So to paint a picture that Brandt was somehow hoarding funds is not aligned with the reality on the ground. The philosophy behind the Passport to Learning program is based on the understanding that universal programs promote equity, integration, and lift all boats. Our Passport to Learning program serves as a model for other communities and is one that we should be incredibly proud of. Another critical policy achievement that I feel I must mention is the change to the kindergarten placement process. Previously, parents were allowed to list preferences for school placement, which led to and reinforced geographic inequities in our town, which still persist to some degree. Dr. Johnson knew this could not stand. In time for last year's placement season, Dr. Johnson reconfigured the kindergarten entrance policy. The goal was to ensure that each elementary school reflects the diversity of our beloved town. She noted that Calabro and Wallace were in many ways models for our community. The task that still faces our district, from my point of view, is to ensure that the sister schools of Brant and Connors continue to grow closer together, and then we seek to integrate Connors and desegregate Brant. This was the first year of implementation of the new policy. We undoubtedly have more work to do to continue to ensure the policy's success. But I'm extremely proud of this significant step because of the long-term vision that it seeks to achieve. I would like to end by saying that I admire Dr. Johnson's passion for programming and curriculum, but what I love and treasure about her most is her empathy for others. No one in Hoboken should be resting on their laurels, and we should never discount the voices of our parents and the experiences of their children in our schools. For anyone who feels on the margins, Dr. Johnson wants to bring you back to center. Let's support her ongoing efforts. Let's push ourselves to do better. Let's not leave anyone behind. Let's continue to inspire and nurture our children because they rely on us to look out for them like catchers in the rye. But let us not cherry pick facts to create false narratives, and let's not besmirch exemplary public servants like Dr. Johnson. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Michelle Daly.
Hi, I'm Michelle Daly, 812 Grand Street in Hoboken. Vera, what Vera just said was beautiful and true. I don't think any of us could say it any better, but I think we all agree with what she said, and thank you to all of you, and thank you, Dr. Johnson. I just signed up to speak because I wanted to share two quick things that happened with my children recently, which I think just exemplify some of the really wonderful things that are happening in the district schools right now. The first is my little one participated in the Steam Tank Challenge, which was already discussed tonight, but what wasn't really mentioned as much is the process that the students went through and the support that they received throughout these last many months by the teachers, the administration, their fellow students. Their peers were all so supportive of them and truly, genuinely excited for them, which was such a special thing to see. And I wanted to thank the Board of Ed and Superintendent Johnson for showing up, for being there in Atlantic City, for watching their presentation, for further promoting it, for making these students feel so proud of their accomplishments. My son afterwards said to me that this was the biggest accomplishment of his life. And then he also said it's the biggest accomplishment that he will ever have. And I was like, no, don't hopefully not. But that level of pride, because everybody in this district and this community made them feel like what they had achieved was so valuable, is just really, really appreciated. And the fact that this opportunity was afforded to them in the first place is really incredible, so thank you. And my second thing is my older son recently attended the Hoboken High School open house. And even though he has a few years to go before he gets there, he was really keen to see, what lays ahead. And we were blown away by what we saw at the open house between the teachers who were kind of all explaining to him about the different subjects and the different course offerings, and you could just feel their enthusiasm and their passion for it was really refreshing. The courses that were offered, the extracurriculars, everything and how it was presented was so exciting for a young mind that he came away saying that he can't wait to be a Red Wing, and there is no other school or district or program or anything that he wants to be a part of other than Hoboken. So, I mean, we are committed to staying, thanks to the support of everyone in this community, and especially thank you to Superintendent Johnson for making our family and so many families feel like this is the place that our children want to grow up in and that we want our children to grow up in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Joy Peters.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Joy Peters. I reside on Washington Street, and I have 2 girls at Wallace School. I spoke to the Board of Education in 2015 when Dr. Johnson was first appointed, and I asked for greater transparency to the performance of the schooling district, more visibility to metrics, more communication. Over the last 3 years, this administration has made tremendous strides in lifting the quality of education for our children. In 2016, the administration introduced an after-school program, Passport to Learning, which you've heard a lot about, that provided all of our children access to an affordable, high-quality enrichment program that enables them to learn new skills and develop passions outside of the traditional classroom. Enrollment in this year, in this 3 to 6 p.m., 5 days a week program exceeded 500 students this year. In 2016, testing for and access to gifted and talented was made available to all students, where previously it was solely at the discretion of teachers. The schooling curriculum was also upgraded to challenge our children more in line with national expectations. Our high school has also seen significant enhancements. A comprehensive AP program, the Princeton SAT reviews, SAT prep, introduction of Rutgers pre-med honors program, the introduction of classrooms without walls offering international travel exposure opportunities to locations such as London, Paris. I think the Galapagos is also coming up. Also, at our high school, 98% of the class of 2018 was accepted into 2 or 4-year programs, college programs, including to Brown University, Boston University, NYU, Northwestern, Stevens, Notre Dame. These students garnered over $30 million in scholarships, a 7-fold increase to the levels, from the levels in 2015. That is, on average, $140,000 per graduating student. These accomplishments and stats are nothing short of being mind-blowing. Absolutely incredible. Transforming a schooling district with hundreds of teachers and administration, with a 1,900 plus strong student body, as diverse as ours, keeping in mind 64% are minority, 54% are economically disadvantaged. It's like moving an aircraft carrier, right? This is not moving a speedboat. Make no mistake, there is room for improvement. When we moved to Hoboken about 20 years ago, the idea that our children would go to the local public school was not even an option. My views have changed. Today, as parents, we see the tremendous potential of the schooling district in enabling our children's pursuit of academic and sporting excellence, in fulfilling their dreams, and learning to become productive contributors to society who we can be proud of. We celebrate Thanksgiving next week. As a migrant who has learned to embrace a special day, I see the day as one to count our blessings. and to give back to our neighbors. It's a reminder that no matter our circumstances, all of us have something to be grateful for. I, for one, am thankful to the Board of Education for their generosity of time and sacrifice in providing the governance and controls to manage the schooling district. I'm thankful to Dr. Johnson for her vision, leadership, and drive in raising the bar for our children. Thank you for choosing to work in Hoboken. I am thankful to Mr. Martin Shannon, for his leadership and perseverance as the principal of Wallace, and for keeping our kids safe, and to the many teachers at Wallace who continue to challenge our daughters every single day. I hope you all have a memorable Thanksgiving with your families, and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last speaker is Emily Jabor.
Good evening, Councilwoman.
Good evening. I'm not usually on this side of the microphone, so this is different. My name is Emily Jabor. I am a council person at large for the city of Hoboken. I am also a district parent of 2 children who attend the Brant School, and I live at 728 Grant Street. I don't necessarily always come to these meetings with the intent to speak, but I feel compelled that it's important, not just as a parent, but also as a leader in this community, to come here and express my gratitude and support for Dr. Johnson and for her leadership for this district. There has been an incredible amount of progress in this district, and even when I was out talking to people about my interest in running for city governance on the city council, people would say to me, "Oh, you're a parent. Where are your children going to school?" I'd say, "Oh, they're at the Brant School." They'd say, "Well, let's talk about that." I said, "Well, you know, city council has nothing to do with the Board of Ed technically, so just want to be clear about it." Didn't matter. That's what they wanted to talk about. And I was extremely excited to have the opportunity to talk to people around this city about how proud I am to be a district parent. I want to acknowledge the incredible progress that has been achieved through programs such as the Passports program, which other parents have spoken about tonight. Also, the LEAP Summer program has been an incredible experience. My daughter keeps talking about how much she loved Wallace and how much she can't wait to go back and see the people at Wallace again, so that could be a problem, you know. I also recently had the opportunity to attend the high school's Evening of Excellence, and I cannot tell you how incredibly blown away I was by that evening. My favorite part was being in the aquaponics lab and the students who were there showing me around, because I had always heard there's this incredible fish tank in the high school. Have you seen the tank of fish? And so I finally got to go check that out, and just how proud those students were to explain it to me and how excited they were about something that, I mean, when I was in science in high school, I just had no interest whatsoever. So I'm really thrilled, and it's an incredible community there. I'm really thankful that you all had the vision to open the school for that sort of a community event. And that's what I think is really important, is that it does take a community to come together to continue to support the progress that we are all seeing and that has been talked about tonight. Something that I'm hoping that will help in support of that work is the City Council has supported the creation of something called an education committee. Again, out of respect for the fact that we are in totally separate lanes, which I will continue to respect. But I think there are opportunities where this city wants to come together to do more to support what you all are doing here. And that's very important. And I think that will continue to advance the progress that's being made. There will be a meeting actually later this month. We've invited administrators from all of the different education communities in Hoboken to come together for a roundtable in partnership with the Hoboken Family Alliance. So I'm really excited to see what that does. You know, something that I think of off the top of my head that's an example of where we all can be working together is something that's important to me is pedestrian safety. It's one of the first things that I had the opportunity to talk about coming to the City Council and, talking about that as it relates to schools. And I'm incredibly grateful. Dr. Johnson recently, had a meeting with us, along with Hoboken Police Department, to talk about some initiatives that we could take on as we're looking at that. And so I'm grateful for the time that you've spent talking about that particular issue and how that will inform the Safe Streets initiative that the city is taking on. I also think it's important, as somebody in this community, as a public servant, to talk about what is the standard for leaders in this community and how they engage in public dialogue. We have a specific responsibility to hold ourselves accountable to the things that we say. And I think we need to be mindful of that, particularly as we see the things that are happening at the national level. We have to be responsible for the words that we state, particularly in public meetings such as this. And people need to take seriously those behaviors. In an era of social media, more than ever, we need to be responsible that our children are watching us. And I take that very seriously in my role. And I know that you all have done a phenomenal job of that. But I'd like to remind the people in this community that when they come forward and speak on behalf of different communities, we need to be responsible to our children. They are watching us and they are learning from us. And I hope we continue to hold ourselves to a high standard so that we can be constructive in the work that we come together to do in the name of our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone for taking the time for your comments. Any responses from board members?
I just want to wish Bill all the luck in the world. Bill, I don't think I've ever heard you raise your voice at any of us to get mad at anyone's comments about budget things, like people argue with you in budget meetings, and you say the same. Amaze me. Good luck on your future. And I thank you for your service here.
I'll ditto that. Best of luck to you, and thank you for all you've done for us.
Yeah, the same. Thank you, welcoming me into the Finance Committee and patiently taking all of my questions, and again, for all that you've done for the district over the years that you've been here. Thank you, and good luck in your new role.
I'd also like to wish you good luck, Bill. We had 3 years working together, kind of dancing the dance of superintendent begging for money and the business administrator pretending to hold the walls back, but we know who usually prevailed on that one. But no, seriously, I wish you the best of luck. I think the district that you're going to is extremely fortunate. I feel blessed that I had the opportunity to work with you for a few years and to get to know you better, and particularly to respect your work ethic and your professionalism. So I wish you the best of luck, and we will absolutely miss you in this role.
The board will be going into executive session now for the purpose of interviewing candidates for vacancy on the board. We may take action at the end of that session. It will last about an hour, is my guess. I need a motion then to go to executive session?
Motion.
Second.
Who was the second? Michelle, okay. Then that motion passes, and we'll do that, right?
Call roll. Ms. Angley?
Oops.
Oh,
Yeah. Go ahead.
oh, Ms. Angley?
Yes.
Ms. Delara?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Kana?
Yes.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Ms. Simmons?
Yes.
Mr. Kirian?
Yes.
And Mr. Klupfel?
Yes.
The motion passes.
All right, I move that we come back into public session. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, just say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're back. We just came back from executive session. We interviewed the candidates for the open seat on the board. Is there any motion?
Motion, I'd like to nominate Mr. Alex Delatorre.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Call roll.
Please.
Ms. Angley?
Yes.
Ms. Delara?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Kana?
Yes.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Ms. Simmons?
Yes.
Mr. Kirian?
Yes.
And Mr. Klupfel?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Are you prepared to?
Yes, I have the oath.
Mr. Del Torre, are you prepared to be sworn in tonight?
Seems like it.
I'll do the break, and I'm going to skip over those statutes because I'm getting tired of doing that.
That's fair enough.
Fair?
Fair enough. Should you start from the top?
Yes, so I'll walk you through it. Just repeat after me. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Alejandro de la Torre,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I support the Constitution of the United States
that I support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I'll bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and this state
under the authority of the people.
I state your name.
I, Alejandro de la Torre,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law
that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law
for the office of member of a Board of Education,
for the office of member of a Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter,
nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense,
nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all duties of that office
perform all the duties of that office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Go sit.
What's that?
You gotta come up and sit. You're on the board. Unfinished business.
You sit there for now. There being no other business before the board tonight, is there a motion to adjourn?
Tom, can I say one thing?
Yep, sorry.
Just before the other candidates leave.
Oh, I didn't see, please stick around.
No, I just wanted to thank everyone who came out and put their names in to fill the spot. It's wonderful to have really excellent candidates and people who are interested in participating, so thank you so much. I know Tom said during the interview to everyone, obviously it's one spot and we had 6 candidates, and so obviously only one person gets to fill the role, but I know that all of us here were impressed by the caliber of all of the candidates that we talked to tonight, and we definitely encourage and hope that you will all continue to support the district in the ways that make sense for you, and look for future opportunities. But thank you so much for being willing to go through this process with us, and we really appreciate the time that you've taken with us and your interest in the role. So thank you.
Thank you. I was in a hurry to adjourn so I could run down there and say the same thing and shake hands again. So, any other comments? I think we all express the same sentiment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Meeting adjourned.